live. Boom.
All right.
There we go.
We are live.
So I was bitching to Chris about how I'm just sick of iTunes and Apple, and I quit it and went all Samsung and PC. What have you got, Wilson? Have you got Apple or you got PC?
Mine's an iPhone 13.
Oh, okay. So you're in the iPhone club.
Yeah, I switched from an Android to iPhone. Well over a year ago. I know some people don't like Apple or don't like Android, but I don't know. I just chose wherever that I can get the best phone I can get out of it. And
oh yeah, I was Apple a long time. I switched out of it. That's my thing.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so Wilson and Jason, you both did a 180, but you did the reverse. Yeah. Jason went from Apple to Android. Wilson went from Android to Apple.
Yep, that's right.
I'm kind of like I'm getting sick of iOS. Like I'm really getting tired of so much of it. But there's a with what I do. I mean, the Macintosh and OS X is fine with me, and especially with what I do, I'll always use a Mac. Right. But I'm just getting sick of iOS. It's just I don't know. I'm tired of
it. So fancy.
Yeah. So
I will say, like, when I switched, I no longer use my Ableton at all because some of my music software looked way better in iOS. And when I switched, I hardly use it at all now.
Oh.
It looks like shit. It doesn't work as well.
All right. One app that sucks is the Discogs app. Have you guys tried using that one at all?
Yeah, I never use the app. I just open it up like in the browser on the phone. Fuck the app. The app sucks.
It's horrible. Terrible. It's when it comes, even the Android one's not that great, but the one for the for iOS is not that great either. I mean, it's good if you're trying to search for your previous your collection, but when it comes to searching for new ones, it's tricky. It's a pain in the rear end, to put it mildly.
Hey, we got Brain Smasher. I just watched this video. Like, what is this on Heavy Metallurgy? The Majesties, where he finds a record in the forest. That was fun.
Yeah, I need to check that out. I need to check that one out.
Yeah. I think it's a preview or something.
And then Malia's in the chat too. Malia.
Hey, Malia.
It's not Malaya like what everyone says. It's Malia.
Oh, really? I say Malaya. You say Malia. I say Malaya. It's like potato.
Right. It's Malia adding skits to my crap. Yeah, I'm having fun. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to start doing a Sunday night live stream, and I think I'm just going to call it. It's just going to be like a free form, just rant,
bitch fest,
like rant and complain, impromptu, like informal thing. I think I'm going to call it Sloppy Sundays. Just to no real structure or anything, just complain about stuff.
I dig it.
Okay. See, now Malia is, I'm probably one of the first people to get Malia's name right. Although I used to call her Malaya, but whatever.
Right. Well, you're American, so maybe you figured out American style. There's an American way of saying it.
Oh, that's it.
See?
That's it.
So what says a potato, tomato?
Up here we say Malaya.
Well,
but down there they say Malia.
Okay, well, Malia's from the heartland. Right. She's in Missouri.
Missouri.
It's a lot of corn and stuff down there.
Yep. Maize. We call corn maize too. Yeah.
Ben's asking if we saw him introducing an Alien to death metal skit. I saw the thumbnail for that, but I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to. I like the idea of introducing brutal metal to just any novice whatsoever, because it's always an eye-opening experience.
Fair.
So tonight's stream here on Cold Life Noise, we're gonna talk about some what's been spinning, but then we're also gonna talk about some next level albums where like albums. When we first heard them, we were like, holy shit, what is this? I've never heard anything like this before.
We're bringing the chaos.
Yeah, and I mean, for some of my stuff, man, we're gonna take a step back in time. I got out some dusty 7 inches and a couple CDs that have a layer of grime on them, but it's next level stuff that I'll always keep in my collection that I'll never get rid of. So how about yeah, Jason, why don't you start off with just whatever you got next level or what's spinning or
Yeah. Okay. Well, for the Chaos, I don't know if you saw my video the other day, but I just got a Chaos pad, so that kind of worked out really well.
yeah.
That is from Korg. It's a little mini synth, makes noise, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, what's spinning? I just did a video today of new CDs I got in the mail. I've been really playing a lot of Sepultura, Wilson, because I know you are a Sepultura fanatic. And these two, this is like his favorite band, I think, right? And do you have these two? You have this one, or you have this one?
I have the Against, but that's the one with the vinyl box set that came out well over a year ago. But I don't have the Mediator. I try to look for the LP version because the CD is a bit more compressed sounding. But
it's heavy shit, man. I love it.
Okay.
I do find I get a little bored halfway through this one. I don't know if you found that problem, but
I mean, there's some. I mean, Against was kind of okay in retrospect. I know
it's
when
90s.
I first. Well, I mean, the fact is, I mean, Max Cavalera left Sepultura. You know, is a rather acrimonious situation. Unfortunately.
Yeah. He was choked up. So how did that happen? Like, did they kick him out, or like, why did he leave? Like,
well, both of the Cavaleras are no longer in. Okay,
actually,
so I'll admit I am 100% ignorant of anything post Max Cavalera. Like after Roots, Bloody Roots, I don't have a clue of what anything sounded like. And Wilson, I saw you had like the reel the other day, playing something that I could tell was from a newer Sepultura album. And I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's from the album called Dante. That's from the vinyl box set that I got. That just came out. It came with Against all the way up to Alex. Now that's the one with Derek Green, of Sepultura. It's a bit of a long history. It's a pretty convoluted history with respect to you have two different opinions of like why and all this happened.
Yeah, like he left right after a concert or something, or in a tour or something like that, right?
What happened was, okay, for one perspective, I mean, during the Roots tour, I mean, there's been a lot of drama between Max Cavalera, his wife, who works as a manager for the band.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's part of the story too.
Yeah, what happened was their stepson died apparently after being chased by some gangs. He died from that. There's a lot of like drama between band members. There's a lot of tension between each other because they deal with a lot of stress from being this big band for Brazil, like not just in Brazil but all over the world.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites from the 90s.
Well, one of the cool things is they do some cool side projects, right? At that point or throughout. Both Max and Igor have done side projects, right? Electronic stuff too.
Well, mainly Igor Cavalera. He did a lot of the electronic side projects. Well, but this is much later on after he left Sepultura and, you know, doing some side work with his second wife, Lima Layton.
Did he do the 1000 Homo DJs project?
Al Jurgensen.
No, they had nothing to do with it.
Igor? No, okay. He wasn't on that one. That was sick. Well, anyway, it's good. It's good times here, Wilson. It is 15 songs long, so it does suffer from the 90s era of overstuffing the CD with 120 minutes or whatever. But this one is 10 songs long. But very good.
With the Sepultura, it's like I think a lot of people don't really give them too much of a chance because there's like different sides with this whole after this split between Max and the rest of the band. You get one side, it's like, oh no, Max created Soulfly. It sounds like new metal. It's like Roots Part 2. It's like a lot of people, just like, nope.
Right, because did
I'm
he
sorry.
start because Soulfly was what he started right after leaving Sepultura, right? Or was that still where they both parallel? Like,
it was with respect to Sepultura. He did create Soulfly sometime after he left Sepultura. You know, after he's gone through some depression, after leaving the band, and it's like, but he finally got the courage to actually create his own band, Soulfly. So
Wilson, when we saw Sepultura last year in Toronto, was there any original band members in the band still?
If you want, strictly speaking, no. There's no original band members left.
Okay.
The longest serving member is Paulo Xisto Pinto Jr., the bassist. He's been for the band for over 35 years, and he's actually the second bassist in the band, and he's been throughout the entire band, the entire discography since starting with Bestial Devastation till now.
I think it's a great band. I think it is. I do see the difference between the early stuff and the later groove metal stuff, but I kind of appreciate the evolution. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So out of say the post Max stuff, which one album would you recommend that I buy tonight?
Quadra.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the latest
album.
Yeah, that's the latest. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll check that out. All right. All right. So, Jason, so Jason, you've been into the Sepultura stuff, and Wilson, you're up to bat
this week. Yeah.
Okay. So what are we doing again? Are we just showing the stuff that we are listening right now?
Yeah. Just this week, whatever you're spinning.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll start with this one, Ringworm.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, that's an old one too.
Yeah, Justice Replaced by Revenge. Yeah, I just got this over a week ago at our local record shop, the Turning Point, and this one is actually a promo, so you can see the store date right there in the upside down cross thing. Yeah, so this is a follow up to the album Birth is Pain through Victory Records, and yeah, it's really good metallic hardcore.
Oh yeah,
still continuing the trend. Even though I love, it's definitely a decent album. Here's a funny thing: the last song, "Life After the End of the World." If you watch The Secret Life of Pets, the animated CGI movie, that song actually made an appearance. And that movie is like a G-rated cartoon for kids.
Oh really?
And that song actually made an appearance right in this album right there.
Huh.
So that's a little interesting fact about it. And
I really liked that one album that they put out, that Relapse put out, which is something. It has the black and white cover. I forget the name of it. I have it.
Hammer of the Witch?
Yeah.
I think that's that one. Yeah, that's a really good Ringworm album. Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. All right, cool. So I'm up, and what I'm going to do is some of what's been spinning. I just got this in the mail this past weekend. This is Premature Burial. And this is the band that how I always talk about Leprophiliac, and Dopey, the drummer. This is another band of his that this is the second album by Premature Burial. This one is called The Obsolete, and this is Dopey's approach to more traditional metal. His whole history with metal, and I've been a fan of like pretty much every band that he's played in. It's everything he's done has either been like grind, death grind, or just really extreme stuff, mostly grind. But this is him really just, and I believe it's just him playing all the instruments and doing the songwriting, just going for a more traditional metal approach. It's not in any way it's not like power metal or new wave, nothing like, or new wave of British heavy, nothing like that. Just kind of, if you kind of think about how 80s metal kind of had that sound to it, it's, yeah, it's a good album. It's not going to, knock your socks off on first listen, but I really like everything that he does. And so I've been listening to this a lot, and it's good if for like a change of pace from his typical style of metal bands that he plays in. Currently, Leprophiliac is I think his main project that he's been working on. And I always sing from the mountains about how much I love Leprophiliac. So I was happy to get Premature Burial in the mail this week.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Jason.
Don't know that one. Yeah, okay, we do one more round and then get into our chaos.
Yeah, well, let's look at the in the chat here. We got Rick is saying Integrity and Ringworm, some of the best metallic hardcore out of Ohio. Yeah, especially Humanity is the Devil. That is such a classic album. Where is it?
Absolutely, I agree wholeheartedly. I will put that as my number 2 of like punk albums of all time. Period.
Yeah. We're okay. So Wilson, the other day you were talking about, where is it? Oh shit! No, this is my old Systems Overload.
Yeah, Systems Overload from
this
Victory.
this is the Humanity is the Devil reissue that came out on Silver Bullet, I think,
or Magic Bullet, I believe is the name.
Yeah. So it's actually a really cool gatefold and stuff with a lot of artwork and stuff inside of it.
Yeah, that's the one with the original Pushead. The original Pushead artwork.
Yeah. And then I have the OG CD for Humanity as well. And then I also have a bunch of his when in Integrity 2000. When he started that offshoot of Integrity, I have a lot of that stuff too.
Oh, Integ 2000?
Yeah.
I need to get that CD. I think he had this split with something, I think, for Victory Records, if I remember.
Yeah.
I think. I don't exactly remember. I haven't delved into that one because this one's not easy to find.
Yeah, you know what the split I think I think it was, here it is. Integrity 2000 Fear Tomorrow split.
Oh.
So, and I think Fear Tomorrow maybe was another, like a noise project of his. I can't remember. Because he had that noise Lockweld, I think was like the noise band. They're the noise project that he had. But anyways, sorry, Jason. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry. We're going off tangent.
Integrity, right? Yeah. I have a nice a dose of minimal techno next. Is what I've been listening to a lot. You can't really read it from there. It's called Deadpan Escapement. I just showed this in my video as well. It's from 2000. And it's kind of, this is so hard to figure out at first on the Discogs. It's a split, but it's a compilation, same time. So it's like two artists, Sutek. I don't know if you heard of Sutek. He's out of San Fran. And or they are also recording as R Rose in these days. And then it has all these remixers on it, and it's a really great album. It's like that minimal techno sound of 2000s. Matt Mose is on here, Stuart Walker, Kit Clayton out of San Fran, and a certain Mick Harris on there too.
Yeah,
Mick Harris from Napalm Death.
Napalm Death, yeah.
He was doing a bunch of remixes. He has his own electronic project, Scorn, which is absolutely fantastic, by the way, especially the album Evanescence, which is not to be confused with that other band. That sounds like Linkin Park with female vocals.
Yeah, no, this is great stuff. And I was buying a lot of this stuff in like late 90s, early 2000s, all that minimal techno. A lot of it, and it was different from the minimal techno of the 90s, which was more analog and hardware based, big drum machines and shit like that, Jeff Mills and all that. In 2000, what happened was Ableton came out, the software, and everybody started doing laptop music, and they were even doing laptop performances. I remember living in Montreal at the time, and people were doing these shows, and people were like, "Is this live, or is this DJing, or is this just a laptop?" But it sounded really cool, is what it was. And they put out a lot of albums of it. Bunch of artists, some of them on this one, but this was one I didn't have, so I got this used recently from Montreal.
That's cool. So now, is that like a collection of 12 inches? Like, is that stuff that was put out on vinyl to spin, or is it just a CD?
Well,
release?
it's on the label Context, which Sutek I think runs. And I looked up the label. It ran until around 2006, and it did seem to have a lot of vinyl, like 12 inches. So maybe these are all singles from that label that had, and because a lot of them did seem to have remixes, so a compilation of that, I guess. But this style of minimal techno is more like IDM, they call it, intelligent dance music. It's kind of meant for the brain, like Outecker stuff, like you would just listen to it. You would not be busting a move to this stuff. It's not for the dance floor.
So that's interesting, because when you look at the Napalm Death family tree, that makes two guys from Napalm Death who veered into the techno DJ side of things, because Justin Broderick he's had his like dubstep thing that he's been doing for years, and he's been producing like a lot of beats and stuff. I remember I saw him I saw Jezu play in New York, but then there was an after party and he was DJing at the after party. It's when Jezu were touring for Lifeline, that album. And I went to the after party where he was spinning, and it was really cool because I got him to sign the CD that I bought at the shows, and I still have that, and that was really cool. But
wow.
Yeah. And but yeah, two guys from Napalm Death who
I also think Shane Embry, he's done some like industrial kind of side projects, no?
Yeah. I thought, wasn't he the one? No, that's right. Scorn was Mitch Harris or Mick Harris.
Mick
Yeah,
Harris.
that's correct.
Shane Embry was in
Meat Hook Seed.
Meat Hook, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the first album is the one with Trevor Perez and Donald Tardy of Obituary.
Wasn't Mitch Harris in Meat Hook Seed too? Or was that just Shane?
It was Shane and that's a good question. Give me 1 second. Meat Hook Seed. Yeah, it was Trevor Perez who does vocals on this one. So it's a little, it is with Mitch Harris.
Yeah.
Mitch Harris on guitars. Yeah, so it's quite unusual to see like Trevor Perez, his trademark like zombie dead man looking eyes.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. And his vocals are pretty decent in Meat Hook Seed.
This could be a future theme for us, Chris. We just delve into side projects.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
Cool side projects of bands.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, especially the Napalm Death family tree. There's a lot going on there.
Oh man, that's a rabbit hole right there. I mean,
yeah.
Especially Justin Broderick's. Wow, it's quite a few.
Yeah. So
favorite side projects of bands. Yeah.
Seriously. All right. How about Wilson? You're up, man.
Okay, so the one I just got yesterday is this one, Life of Agony. River Runs Red.
Ooh, that's a throwback to the 90s.
Yeah. So I bought this in anticipation of they're coming to Ottawa pretty soon.
Yep.
Later towards the end of this month. So with Sick It of All, which is another of my favorite New York hardcore band. So this one I actually didn't really think about Life of Agony for a long time. I just discovered them not too long ago. Given the fact that it came out in 1993, so they got a lot of attention, surprisingly, because it's not death metal. It's not like the thrash metal of like the Roadrunner era. This is from Roadrunner Records, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite a big change up. So it's like, imagine yourself combining New York hardcore punk with like typo negative with respect to the vocal delivery and the effects they put into the music. So it's quite an interesting combo.
Hey Wilson, do you
with
like
this.
the Casualties? Did you ever get into them? The Casualties?
No, I never
like
really
New York-
just listened to them.
Yeah, New York street punk of the 2000s, 90s. I tried a CD the other day. It wasn't my thing, really.
Yeah, so
But I don't know that one yet.
even though this came out in 2000, it still has the original Blue Grape merchandise
Oh, okay.
form from the
I
90s.
love those old catalogs.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
The
you
good
can
old
order
Blue
Obituary
Grape
or Pestilence.
catalog.
Fill it out. Send it
Yeah,
in.
you know what? I've never really listened to I've heard Life of Agony, but I've never owned anything by them.
Mhm.
And it's funny too, because just the other day, Rick mentioned Vision of Disorder. I have Imprint on CD somewhere from way back when, but like, because I would say VOD kind of fall in line with Life of Agony too, sound wise, of kind of, because I think Vision of Disorder, I think that was like New York hardcore too.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And I got that one out. Well, okay. So now that we're on this topic of old school hardcore, man, do I have one to show that I listen to all the time. I love this album. And this is Earth Crisis, Destroy the Machines.
Yeah, I have that. I have that on LP and the Q-Pack CD as well.
The which CD?
The Q-Pack, so it's like a plastic cover.
Oh, the Eco Pack one. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that as well. So Earth Crisis, yeah, Destroy the Machines is actually a really good album.
Oh yeah, I love this album, man. Like Born from Pain, Destroy the Machines, of course, the title track, The Discipline. Oh man, it's so self-righteous too. Like it's dedicated to vegan straight edge. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like their thing with the whole theme of their lyrics and whatnot. I know they wore it on their sleeves to put it put it this way, but doesn't change the fact their music is pretty decent. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, I was never straight edge back in the day. I think I was straight edge for an afternoon, maybe, and that's the most. But man, I love this album. It's so good. But I knew a lot of straight edge guys, back in the day, and Earth Crisis, where I still remember like my buddy Cole had the Windbreaker, and then I think it had the plumber's wrench, logo, kind of like an X, but it was of the wrenches. But and then everybody, well, Cole didn't wear it, but I knew other straight edgers, they wore like the beads, like the Krishna type of choker. And oh man, I was never part of that scene, but I always liked a lot of the music. And I love this album, especially something about it, like when I'm cleaning the house and I want like some good house cleaning music. Great drinking album too, like great drinking album. I think out of everyone who I knew who was straight edge back in the day, only one person is still true till death, but he's never drank or anything. But yeah, I love this album, man. This is I remember this guy who, like, when he was like, you want to talk about regrets, when he was probably 22, he got tattoos of X's on his hands.
Oh, the straight edge.
Yeah, a lot of the straight edgers, they were the ones who, right out of high school went and got full sleeves and got their necks tatted up and everything. And it's like, are you sure?
You're gonna regret that. You're gonna fucking regret that. It's like getting a teardrop and all that shit. Yeah. Those rappers, they have their face done. Yeah.
Oof.
Gonna regret that. It's funny. The older I get, the more straight edge I become. That's just because drinking alcohol is not good after 40.
Yeah. Drinking alcohol after 40 just makes you fat.
Yeah. And sick.
Still
not healthy.
Though.
It turns out it's
Beer's
got poison in it. Fuck. Everything's
Well,
got poison.
Everybody's react differently with alcohol. It's just the way how it is. Yeah. But anyways, Earth Crisis, yeah, absolutely, very good band. I know Victory Records back in the '90s, they come out with a whole bunch of great bands, like Dead Guy.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Snapcase is another great one.
Yeah.
Integrity, Rainworm.
Victory was like Victory and Revelation. What was it? Revelation Records. Was that it? Oh shit! Equal Vision put out a lot of that same type of stuff back then, but it begins with an R. I can't remember, but yeah, it's again, straight edge hardcore, the whole like New York hardcore, type of scene. A lot of good Madball.
Sick of It All.
Sick of It All. Yeah, I saw Sick of It All. I remember when I saw Meshuggah and Sick of It All open for Slayer. And this was at the Capitol Ballroom in DC when Slayer were touring for Divine Intervention. That was a pretty sweet opening act, seeing Meshuggah pretty much when they were like new, and then Sick of It All. It's definitely an awesome show.
Yeah, my favorite would be Chromax. That's another fantastic band for the New York scene, the New York hardcore scene.
Yeah. So, all right, Jason, you there?
I'm here. Just eating supper.
Got a mouthful of food.
Yeah, I'm just eating supper. It's chaos here. Total.
Are you eating
poutine?
No, I'm eating pasta of some sort. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Vegan, probably. No, it's not vegan. It's got cheese in it. So.
Oh, it's just a pasta.
Well, you're up.
Are we doing chaos?
Oh.
Are we ready for chaos?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'm ready for chaos. Okay. Well, first of all, when you heard chaos, okay, this is going to be interesting because I bet you right now we all pulled different stuff for this because we were purposely not very specific, right, about what we're talking about. But that being said, I probably pulled a couple things that you guys have. I don't know. First thing that came to mind, of course, was Chaos UK. So I was going to get into that. Short, sharp, shock album, classic album. It's a good old crust punk. Love this record. This is a Radiation Records reissue. I am like, my punk stuff is all 80s all day, but I like a lot of recent stuff too. But yeah, so I was really happy to get this on vinyl, and pretty chaotic crust punk is. Love crust.
So now I've never listened to Chaos UK. They were was that like early
British
80s crust, like Mohawks and patches and stuff?
Yeah. These guys might have been like an influence on Napalm Death. I don't know. Kind of like Extreme Noise Terror a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But not as fast and crazy as grindcore. It's still very punkish.
Yeah.
Song driven, not pure noise by any means, but it's a little bit lo-fi and a little bit loud and fun.
Yeah, they did a split with Extreme Noise Terror. Chaos
did
UK.
They?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's the main one that I have by them. I don't think I have anything else by them. I have them on a compilation maybe, but it says pay no more than $4.99. But those were the days.
How much did you pay for that?
The reissue, probably like $25.99.
Well, I'm
That'd
pretty
be
sure if you
$300.
adjust for inflation and exchange rates, it's probably close to it.
Probably close to the $4.99. Yeah.
I think if I was the record store clerk and I was selling that, all those albums that say pay no more than $5.98, I would just, as a joke, I would put a sticker over it that says pay no more than $59.99. Just kind of like kind of like Garage Days that has the pay no more than $4.99 or something on it.
That was probably one of the first albums that I saw that and like Fugazi, like all the Discord stuff always had that on the back too, right? Theirs was like, if you do a mail order, you can get this for $5.99.
Yeah, sound pollution, a lot of that. They would have the prices just, in the liner notes, $8 for a CD, stuff like that, but not anymore.
No.
Wilson showed that mail order form earlier. Now, did any of you guys ever back in the day order from a mail order form from a label?
Nope, never did.
I did.
Well, the problem is
my cousin and I used to order from SST Records and also Cruise or CZ. What was that label down in the States as a punk label? They had a whole bunch of stuff. Like All was on it. Well, All was on SST, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Epitaph?
Epitaph was one, yeah. Cruise, I think. I feel like there's a label called Cruise. I don't know why, but I don't know. Maybe it's a band. But yeah, I remember doing that. And then you'd wait for it to arrive in the mail. You'd have to mail this little piece of paper, right? And then they have to receive your money, I guess a check or something, or money order, and then they would mail you the stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I never got a chance because by the time I got the CDs, it's already way too late, and there's no way. It's I didn't discover all these bands until like much later, like years or even decades. So yeah, at the time I had a lot of catching up to do because my taste in music when I was a kid is almost non-existent. So
fair.
You can imagine that there's a lot of bands that I haven't even heard of until like much later. Thanks to the internet.
Mm-hmm. All right, Wilson, you're up. Something next level. First time you heard it, you were like, holy shit, what am I listening to?
Okay, let's go with this. This is the band called Damarnu, or some people call it Damar. They're from Lebanon. This is actually an EP or demo, as you would like to call it. It's one we call it Triumph. Spears through Spears Are Sacrilege. Now, this one is absolutely the most mind-blowing bestial war metal I ever heard.
Really?
Ever. And I cannot find any band that comes close to it. That's how extremely destructive, how chaotic and crushing this demo is.
You mean more chaotic than Revenge?
Even, I would say so, yes.
Huh. All right. Well, I've never heard of that, but I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, so this one is way out of print. I got it back in the day through Nuclear War Now, which was released from them. So, yeah, it has these band members. So there's a little bit of history behind this band. So because they're from Lebanon, they had to kind of hide away from like the religious fundamentalists from different groups, because metal is considered sacrilege, no matter what side you're in. So they had to do things in the secret, like do it like very, very underground.
Yeah.
There's actually a book about it, talking about the this band. Let me see if I can find it. But it delves deep into detail the Lebanese metal scene. Let's see if I can get it.
Lebanon too. I love Lebanese food, by the way. But anyways, yeah.
Rock in a hard place, busy and mayhem in the Middle East. So there's actually a chapter dedicated to the Lebanon, and it talked about this band, Damarun, which is the Arabic word for destruction or devastation.
Yeah. So,
yeah, this is absolutely, as I say, it's extremely destructive, very chaotic. And the intro, even the intro, it was just all ambient sound and all that. But it actually included audio footage of I believe it was the Al Qaeda in Iraq, where they beheaded an Egyptian spy during the first beginning of the Second Gulf War.
Mm-hmm.
So
they were going for shock value.
Yeah, and then they had the screaming from the vocals, and the next song, "Preaching for Mass Suicide." You should give this one a listen.
I will. So what would be like a modern day equivalent to something like that? That maybe for those of us who aren't familiar with that band would want to.
Okay. This, like I said, I can't. There's no band that can match it. It's very.
Really?
It's kind of difficult. but it's in the realm of the war metal. So you have like Proclamation, Titan Blood, Conqueror, Revenge.
All that Ross Bay cult type of stuff.
Yes.
What? Yeah.
Or Tetragrammaticide from Calcutta, India, will be another rough equivalent, as one could put it this way.
Mm.
All
Very
right.
good, Wilson. Very good, Wilson. Well done.
Okay, so I'm going to show off something that, for me, the first time I heard it, this was next level stuff. And I think anyone else can agree with me. That is the Dillinger Escape Plan Under the Running Board EP. When I first heard this, and they had a video for the song was The Mullet Burden. And the first time that I heard, because I never heard Dillinger Escape Plan before this 7-inch was put out. First time I heard this, I was like, holy shit. What, like this just absolutely blew my mind the first time that I heard it. And then they went and then followed this up with Calculating Infinity. I mean, for that stretch of 2 albums, well, then after that they did Irony is a Dead Scene with Mike Patton. But between this and then leading into Calculating Infinity, the Dillinger were one of the craziest metalcore bands at the time. The downside to that is that then it created a million imposters who all wanted to sound just like that. And but man, when this came out, when I heard this for the first time, I was like, wow, that the Mullet Burden, that song is awesome. And so I have 2 copies. These are OG 7-inches from Abe the Cobb, Sandbox Magician, and Abe the Cop. I mean, all 3 songs on this are just absolutely killer. This was definitely a jaw-dropping listen the first time that I heard this. It was okay. So Logan's asking, did I ever see them? Yes, I did. I saw them a few times. I saw them in Florida. I saw them twice in Florida. Once was at what was the name of that? It was the same venue where I saw At the Drive-In play, but then I saw what was that lineup? That was Dillinger Escape Plan when the Misfits first reunited, probably back around 2000 or 99. Like when they first got back together, but they had that different vocalist. This was at the House of Blues, and Dimitri, the original vocalist, was still touring with them at the time. So, and they absolutely tore down the house. I forget who the headliner was though for that show when I saw them. Oh shit, this is gonna kill me.
My problem with this band straight off the bat, and I've never actually listened to them, I'm gonna admit that now, but I don't like the look of this band. When you're doing metal, I don't like the short haircut, prep look. It just doesn't work for me. I need to see the long hairs. I need to smell the shampoo of the long hair as the performer. This is just too clean cut.
Well, yeah, they were clean cut. They definitely brought on that modern, like sort of the swooped hair type of.
There's a sound to that too.
Like
sound
wearing,
like that.
Being fit and wearing form-fitting T-shirts and stuff. They definitely they didn't veer away from that look. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But
when I see a band like that on stage, I just like, nope, that's not my punk. That's not my metal. I don't know.
All right, you gotta look past that. It's like, don't judge as I say, don't judge the cover by its book.
It's true.
Don't judge the book by its cover. Sorry, I got that mixed up.
Don't judge that book by
Yeah, Logan's saying Calculating Infinity and Miss Machine were big WTF albums. Calculating Infinity is incredible. 43% burnt, was good, but it all for me. It all. I mean, there was the first album that they put out, which I also have that one too. But when this 7-inch came out, I was just like, wow, this is something new. All right.
I remember discovering Dillinger Escape Plan for the 43% Burnt and several songs from Calculating Infinity. It's like whoa, that's like extremely heavy, extremely chaotic sounding. It's whoa. This is one of those albums that can be rarely replicated.
When they got Mike Patton on for Irony is a Dead Scene, that was a really good album too. And
yes.
Mike Patton, of course, Mike Patton, because then after that, Dimitri didn't come back to the band, because then after that they got Jim Bro, doing vocals on everything after that. I call him Jim Bro because he's a Jim Bro, and then he was like dating porn stars and stuff. I mean, I'd date porn stars too if I was in a band.
He had that hairdo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Slicked. Yeah. I'm just jealous because I don't have much hair anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, neither do I. And trust me, I have some complaining to do about that.
Wilson, he's got full head of hair there. For me, I'm going to go way back to the 80s again, where it all began. We're talking about bands that, like, when you first heard it blew you away, right? Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy, too. I can't think of another one that's more crazy than this shit. Einstürzende Neubauten. And this is the first Neubauten album I ever owned and listened to. This is the Drawings of Patient OT.
Uh-huh.
It's like Drawings of a Crazy Man. And all the lyrics are in German, which I don't know. And so it's just like screaming. Have you ever seen or heard Einstürzende Neubauten, Chris?
I used to have Tabla Rosa.
Tabla Rasa.
Tabla Rasa. I used to have that one, and then I had like 3 albums by them that I ended up just over time, just don't have anymore. But
well,
yeah,
this is a band. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with this band, so like it kind of definitely grew on me. I first discovered them on Much Music up here, which is our MTV video channel. There was a video of I think a song from this album or the album before, where they're just in like a car parking lot or something, and they're just banging pipes on pipes. They're in like a garbage area or something. I was like, wow, is this punk? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's definitely crazier than punk. The lead singer Blixa had the crazy spiked hair and just screaming. This German screaming in a parking lot kind of thing. So I was hooked.
Yeah, kind of a band that was sort of like maybe performance art in a way, when like their live shows, where the performance was part of the music, not necessarily just all about playing instruments.
The songs are quite varied.
What was that?
I was going to say the songs are quite varied on this album. You won't get bored listening to this. They're not all the same.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, God, it's been so long since I've listened to them. I can't recall like any songs.
This one's 1983, and then I think the album after this, or 2 albums after, the Funf album, I call it. It's a black and white cover, and then I sort of stopped with their catalog because they did like they are art in a sense, and they even do like classical music. I think nowadays they kind of got more classical.
Yeah, for more of a neoclassical, but I think it's entirely a synth. I believe it was Tabla Rasa is like the main one, if I remember. Which actually I should know because I have the CD, but that's the only Now Belton CD album I have in my collection. I tried to get the others, but I had no luck. Like they started,
I have like Habermansch and Collapse. Their debut album is really fucking good. The Funf album is from '87. Tabla Rosa, that's I sort of stopped by then. That was '92. That's on mute though. Yeah. Anyway, cool band, very chaotic in the early sense.
And Henry Rollins has their tattoo on his forearm.
Yeah, their logo. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know where they stole that logo from, but is it on?
I always thought that was the Einstürzende Neubauten logo. I don't know if they borrowed that from something or what. Yeah.
Was it from the Young Gods? It looks similar.
Yeah.
Or maybe actually no, probably not. I was thinking something else. Sorry, never mind.
Wilson, what's your next?
So I'm next. Okay. Well, it's to evoke some sort of like chaos or WTF, but I was trying to think of one.
WTF,
Which is-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but okay, I guess we'll go with this. Bolt Thrower,
Bolt thrower. Whoa.
Realm of Chaos.
Yes.
This is the original press from 1989.
Ooh.
So,
Ooh.
Mhm.
oops.
I haven't heard that album. I still only have the first album by these guys.
You're talking about In Battle There Is No Law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Got
But this is
reissued.
their second album signed on to Earache, so I'm not sure. It does blew me away because this music is just like chaotic. It's like war,
Oh yeah.
and the production, even though it's somewhat raw, but and the vocals is like whoa. It's like almost. I think they downpitch it. Like they use some sort of vocal pitch shifter effect. So Carl Willett's vocals is like much lower. It's like almost sounds like Zeus at times. But some of the songs are absolutely killer. We're talking about songs like World Eater is definitely their classic, and Lost Souls Domain is also my absolute favorite from them. It's just like whoa.
Oh yeah. That's an album that deserves the proper mobile fidelity 45 RPM treatment, but unfortunately it'll never get that.
No, you'll have to
But
ask
do you-
Earache to do that.
Do you
Yeah.
want it that clear? You want a clear version of that? You don't want the mud?
Yeah.
I mean, it's extreme metal. Do you
Well,
need it
they
clear?
did reissue. They did a reissue remaster from the original tapes for Realm of Chaos, but the artwork is much different. But from my understanding, I don't think Earache Records got the rights for this album cover because that album cover came from one of the Warhammer books.
Yeah,
from back then.
the company that did the art for all of the Warhammer stuff, they didn't. Earache is good at losing the licensing to album art for their reissues because that's the same with Morbid Angel.
Yeah.
Because then what they do then is they distort the art because they don't have the rights to use it in its proper form anymore. But that was all Games Workshop.
That's right.
That's the I guess the production company that did the art for the Warhammer. I mean, for Warhammer and for the Bolt Thrower.
Absolutely, yeah.
Chris, is that true? If you distort the art, you won't get sued. Like you're okay copyright wise.
They have to distort it up to a certain percentage of distortion, which is still pretty sleazy because you're still using the original concept. But there has to be like a certain percentage of altercation in order to not be liable for copyright infringement or anything like that.
So that is so different from music, right? Because in music, if you sample something and you get a warning or whatever, even if you fucked around with the sample. I guess if you really messed up with the sample, maybe they couldn't recognize it. But this is a hot topic for another day. But it's AIs are able to recognize everything nowadays, right?
Oh yeah, they can transcribe the lyrics and the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that part of explain why the Nocturnus, the key reissue, remaster, the full dynamic range edition, kind of explains why the artwork looks so dark.
Well, and it's the same too with the Altars of Madness reissue. Why they call it reimagined, and what that means is that they lost the rights to the artwork.
Well, that's what they get when they screwed with Dan Seagrave.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a real shame because Dan Seagrave is like he's an amazing artwork. He's like, why not just pay the extra money to get the rights? Get the really good quality reproduction for their reissues. I just don't get it. It just blows my mind sometimes.
Because I've really been slacking on buying Bolt Thrower on vinyl just because I'm not big into Earache. Earache, they put so little effort into their reissues that I'm just like, meh, But I just broke down and just ordered War Master.
So you're saying this is altered?
Altars of Madness.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the Blessed though, is that all that's legit, like the original art, no?
Well, that art actually came from a painting, but
Right.
I don't know what the copyright provision with respect to like original paintings. It might be a little bit of a different story with that.
Yeah, I don't know if something like that would be in the public domain.
That's the altars, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it originally looked though. No?
Yeah, it should be. I don't know. I have the full Dynamic Range LP of that, but I haven't done a comparison between that and the
Yeah, because this is
CD
a
that I have.
reissue. It's a reissue. Anyway, I like Earache. It's fun. Good label.
Well, I mean, Eric has a ton of great bands, but they're well known to screw over the bands, kind of like Victory Records.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
We're back to you, Chris.
My turn for some next level. Okay, so this album, when this came out, this absolutely blew my mind the first time that I heard it, and that is Honky Reduction by Agoraphobic Nosebleed.
Oof.
So this is the original CD that I mail ordered from Relapse back in the day. And then this is the 12-inch that was put out by Regurgitated Semen Records.
Lovely name.
When Agoraphobic Nosebleed, I've lost interest in them ages ago. But when this came out, I wasn't even really that familiar with drum machine grind. But this was just, when I played this for the first time, I was like, what the hell am I listening to? And this is where kind of like my whole theory on drum machine metal is you're either using the drum machine to fill in for a live drummer, or you're using the drum machine to do something that a human can't do. And on this album, they were using the drum machine to accomplish something that a human drummer just can't do. Just absolutely blistering blast beats. And it's just Scott Hall played all the instruments. I mean, just the guitar and the drum programming. And then the dude who's been doing vocals for them ever, since the beginning. So it was just the two of them. Now this one, the 12-inch, when I got this, it also included a 7-inch on this as well. Which one is it? Yeah, the Glue That Binds Us. This 7-inch also came with it. But yeah, this was put out on Regurgitated Semen Records. And back when emails were and URLs were some confusing sort of like what am I, a Lycos? Like they have a Lycos domain.
Yeah, that's kind of like the webpage. It's like GeoCities of Germany back in the day.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers GeoCity.
Which one?
GeoCities.com. Do you remember that?
GeoCities websites. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the equivalent of that for Lycos. I remember. Take it from me. I've been using the internet since forever. So.
Oh yeah, I remember GeoCities sites. Yeah. So. Yeah, so this is my next. This was my second introduction to a Chaos album.
Okay.
Awesome stuff. So
well, this was not an introduction for this genre for me, but it's probably the first time I got a full album of this genre that is absolutely fucking chaos. And I've picked this record up. This is an artist named Vomer. Actually, I think this is a split, believe it or not. Yeah, it's Vomer and Tomaine split LP. I picked this up in the States, I think at like Amoeba or somewhere like that. It's absolutely pure noise. So this is Harshwell noise on vinyl.
Yeah.
One of these days I got to make a good post about this, but there's no song, like it's just all groove the whole way through. and you can drop the needle at any point, and it'll just go, and it's just the whole time. So if you're brave enough to listen all the way through, it's a little treat. It kind of, yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Well, my joke at first was going to be like, I wonder what the mastering engineer was like. He's like, okay, guys, how do you want me to master this? I'm like, do you want it like louder or it's just full noise?
I think one of your cables wasn't plugged in when you were recording your instruments because it didn't come out right.
Tape right? Yeah, exactly. Sounds a little compressed. I don't know.
Well, try playing this on a $100,000 to like $500,000 audio setup.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the video I want to make, because what was it like about 6 months ago? There was a thing going around the metal community. They had, could a metalhead be an audiophile? So I've got to do my response with this record, and I got to play it because it's fucking great.
What year is that album from?
I have to look it up. There's like zero information on this thing, and it was a kind of a cheap buy. I think it was like $12 or something.
Yeah.
So for $12, I will take a chance. It's like, in an experimental section or something.
All right. Okay, Wilson, you're up.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. I'm trying to think. Okay, I guess we'll bring this in. Even though it's probably somewhat wrong theme, but here it is. Sepultura Chaos AD.
Literal.
Great album.
Yeah. This is kind of, I guess you could say, because it was something to evoke chaos. I know that's what Jason told me, but if we're going for the WTF, I guess you could say was probably 14 as like, that's like, whoa, what the heck is this? Because it has this this groove, it has the growling vocals by Max Cavalera, of course.
Oh yeah.
And these songs, another big thing was the political theme to it, like chaos, like refuse, resist, territory, new world, or slave, new world, Kiowa's propaganda. So it's kind of more of a WTF in some way for me. It's kind of blew my mind that it's like metal and then like real life issues that's happening in this world. It's like, wow. Not just fantasy, like Blind Guardian, with the, or, flower metal topic themes about, Lord of the Rings or death gore, or hurting people in various ways that might be fatal.
Yeah. Well, I remember, man, the video for Territory of them standing in the swamp and then just like, War for Territory. I mean, that was such a good song.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that album.
Yeah. I know a lot of fans kind of gave them a hard time with Chaos AD because it's like, what happened to the thrash sound? Or it's like, oh no, they're going for the groove tribal sound. But I don't know. I still love this album. I know some people don't like it, but that's their opinion. That's how they feel. So it's like, okay, but still, I like it.
Yeah, to me that's probably number 3 or 4 for me of my favorites by them, but probably number 3. Yeah.
So I looked this up, Chris, and it's from 2010. And
okay.
I'm selling a copy of it right now on Discogs if you want to buy one. It's on Hellville Records out of Germany.
All right, cool.
Now you know.
All right, so on the theme of chaos, and this is one of my favorite grind bands. I proudly wear their shirt pretty frequently, and that is Hell Nation. I love Hell Nation, and this is the album Your Chaos Days Are Numbered. And not only listening to Chaos, listening to this album, but when I heard Hell Nation for the first time, I was like, holy shit, because Hell Nation was the first hardcore band that I heard where the drummer was the lead vocalist. And hearing for this type of music, there's this intensity that comes along with the drummer doing lead vocals. It really is. It's this level of just of chaos of just having a drummer as your lead vocalist. I mean, you're seeing more drummers doing lead vocals nowadays. I think some of them, like Antichrist Siege Machine, the drummer is the lead vocalist. The dude from Absu, I think he's always been the lead vocalist. But you used to never really see metal bands with a drummer as the lead vocalist. My thought is it's just too difficult to count. It's probably counting like that. It's pretty difficult. But
it sure is be difficult.
Yeah.
Grindcore.
Oh yeah. So I imagine just blast beats. It's probably easier. But then that's the thing though, is that the blast beats on this album and then Fucked Up Mess, the album that came out after this. Well, everything that they've put out, it's just fucking awful stuff. But just Al, the drummer, just his vocals are just so intense and just so just like right in your face, but he's also just blast beats at the same time. I love Hell Nation. I do. They'll always be one of my 3 favorite grind bands of all time. A lot of people call them power violence. To me, they're grind. I don't think of them as power violence, but yeah, Hell Nation, your chaos days are numbered. I love this album. I also have it on CD too.
I vaguely hear about this band from somewhere before, but I have not got a chance. But I'll definitely check it out. Hell Nation, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
From Kentucky.
Oh. On YouTube, it's funny, if you get on YouTube, there's a video of them doing a live set at Fireside Bowl, which is a bowling alley that's 2 blocks down from where I live. And the video is from like 1980 or 1998, and it's Hell Nation at Fireside Bowl, and it's like seriously like 2 blocks from me.
Wow, that's awfully close. But so, the other band that had the drummer here in Ottawa is Exciter.
Exciter. Oh, yes. Oh, the drummer is the lead vocalist?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's freaky to see. I've seen them live twice now, and it's amazing that he can do metal drumming and singing, because it's a lot of fast drumming. But yeah,
that takes serious talent. Well, one day I'd like to do a deep dive just of bands with a drummer as the lead vocalist, because I think that's definitely pretty talented. So
we could do
in the chat. It reminds me of this band Discordance Axis. You guys heard of them? I guess Dizzy is I guess he probably saw me flaunt my 14 copies of the Inalienable Dreamless last week.
We could do that as a theme. We should do like a drummer as the centerpiece. Maybe it doesn't have to just be like drummer was singing, but I'm thinking like the drummer of Rush, like the brainchild of the whole band, or Husker Du. I know they have a pretty important drummer. I don't know.
Are we talking about like in terms of importance, or are we talking about how influential they are, sort of thing?
Importance to their band, I guess. Yeah, central figure of the band is the drummer.
Okay.
All right, Jason, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it grind as well. I don't know if you heard of this band before or not, Chris. I don't know if I showed them before, but Six Brew Bantha.
Okay, yeah,
from the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I got blown away by these guys. First time I heard them was live. I saw them here. They played a little bookstore gig, like a punk gig, before the pandemic. And I think they're like a 2-piece or maybe a 3-piece. But they came out and they just fucking ripped it, man. They played for like 10 minutes straight. And then they were like, that is side A of our album. And then they played for another 10 minutes straight. And they're like, that's side B. And that was it. And I got 2 records by them, actually. Great artwork too, by the way. Really detailed.
Yeah,
stuff.
Six Brew Bantha. I have something from them. I think I have a 7-inch. Can't really remember.
Yeah, they've done some splits and stuff too. Just really great grind, like kind of almost jazz drumming. It's just fucking insane, intense. A lot of tempo shifts. I think actually they've got the 2 vocal styles going a little bit. Some of the high and a little low.
All right.
But it's
Okay.
really only the last year I'd say I got into grindcore. Never really knew what that genre was at all. Stopped listening to metal by 86, 87, so I did not know what grindcore was. I didn't even know all the cores. I mean, actually, the last core that I knew was hardcore. I knew hardcore. But then it looks like in the 90s, you guys, everybody just kept going with core. Metalcore, hard, thrash core, everything's a core.
Yeah, kind of like what is core anymore,
Gotta be core. Pop core? Is there a pop funk core? I don't know.
You would have think as much as we love to come up with different terms for different styles of music, that we could have been more original with the core.
Yeah, with the chords.
So just
Yeah. Well, they did pop out Power Violence that had no core in it.
Yeah.
There was no, but then there was post-hardcore. So.
Yeah, post-hardcore. That's like even though post-hardcore is not really my genre, because I'm not really a fan of the vocals of post-hardcore in general.
Here is a cool question, a metal punk related question. And this is what I've been getting fascinated with the most lately, is bizarre fusions, like where it's like hardcore and doom. It's like two things that shouldn't fucking work. Like it's fucking slow and it's fucking fast. Like how the fuck? But yeah, I mean, I guess it got like Bad Brains was like that too, right? They did reggae and hardcore. That was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Hardcore and doom. They probably the closest one I could think of is Dystopia. I would say.
Oh, I'm sure there's bands that do it.
Yeah, Dystopia.
Yeah,
but
like, is there a grind doom? Could you do doom and grind?
Well, there are some bands that'll grind doom. I mean, some bands that will like have blast beats, but then just have really sludgy parts to their songs. I think. Well, I mean, what one band, Ilsa band I've talked about a few times, they're sludge, but then they have parts where they're just like really fast and chaotic.
The sludge would be the connection, I guess. Yeah.
From Dystopia, there was also Nuth Grush. Nuth Grush was pretty much just stuck with just being sludge. But they did get more up tempo sometimes. I love Nuth Grush, by the way, but sort of that
weird
like,
fusions.
Yeah, fusion of something that's just a 180 difference from the other.
Polar opposites or something. Yeah.
Here's one example. Think of a mutation. Try to combine metal with like house techno music.
Oh, that's industrial. Alec Empire, Atari Teenage Riot.
Yeah.
Well,
techno and metal.
Except it's a lot dancey. It's very dancey music.
You got the dance
with like
of course,
heavy guitars and like
you do have disco metal, right? Kiss Dynasty album. That's the original right there. I was made for loving you. Funky. Baby. Actually, I went online to say like Judas Priest usually has a disco track every album, like on Hellbent for Leather. There's a lot of groove going on. It's pretty funky.
Well, wouldn't Turbo be one of them?
That would be more like 80s, like synth pop. Yeah. Not so much house or disco, but
Turbo was the album where they used a drum machine.
They did, and keyboards.
Yeah. Turbo Lover. That's a good song. I kind of like that one.
Yeah, that's grown on me. I dig it. I hated it when it came out. Right when it came out, we were all like, "Nah, what is this? Sellout or something? What is this cheese?" And it was weird too because when that album came out, it was kind of after. Wasn't that when they were getting sued for that kid who killed himself using the lyrics from Judas Priest?
Playing the records backwards.
Yeah,
satanic messages.
And then they come up with this synth pop record, Turbo. It's weird.
Yeah, that's funny. Gotta blame something,
Yes, it is a tradition, unfortunately, in the Western canon to blame somebody for everything.
Well, what do you think is the PMRC with Tipper Gore? Doing all this nonsense.
Yeah, Tipper was in there. Yeah,
I remember hearing that Weird Al Yankovic put out an album where sometime after that he put out an album where if you played it backwards, it said something about like eating a grilled cheese sandwich. Like seriously, like he had subliminal messages that you would hear in one of his records.
Yeah, that's well done.
I think
That's
I heard
awesome.
that. I'm trying to remember what it was. Is it Polka Party? I can't remember, but I think I heard something like that.
Yeah.
He was a great artist. I saw him live at the Blues Fest. He was awesome. Weird Al.
Yeah. Well, it's funny about Weird Al. He's one of the first artists I ever listened to.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, every kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a whole bunch of Weird Al like in my basement. I still have them to this day. The CDs.
Nice.
The first piece of wax that I ever bought or owned as a kid was the 45 for Eat It.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and I still have it too.
Nice.
Nice.
So, all right,
Guy was a
Wilson.
legend.
Yeah, all right, Wilson, you're up.
Okay, so I think I might go with this one, but WTF in a not so like what? Carcass, Rika Putrefaction. This one is probably one of the Carcass albums to this day I can't really get into because it's just how chaotic, how noisy it is, and how extremely muddy the production is. It's hey, don't get me wrong, I love muddy lo-fi sound, but this one was a little too much for me, and to me, it's more of a WTF and not in a more of a negative light, unfortunately. Even though,
do you prefer Heartwork like later Carcass?
Well, I prefer Necroticism and Symphony of Sickness. I think it's better, but I do really like Heartwork as well. Yeah. It's just I just had a problem with trying to listen to this. It's barely listenable to me.
It's
for
its time. That was definitely crazy stuff for its time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not to mention you have all these lyrics. They're all gore, but some of this has to do with like they use a medical dictionary or they had like a medical textbook. They got who was it?
It was one. I think it was Bill Steer's sister was in med school,
Yes.
and they cut out the pictures from like her med school book, and that's where they got all the terms from.
Yeah, so you have microwave utero gestation. Let me see, manifestation of varicose urethra, mucopurulence excretor.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what these terms mean, but it suggests to me it has to do with like really disgusting stuff.
Yeah, a friend of mine is a gastroenterologist, and she read the lyrics, and she said that the Carcass lyrics make no sense for like someone who went to med school, but pharmacist lyrics and titles do make sense. So there's at least maybe they had some consulting or something.
Yeah.
But like when you're speaking the language of medicine, it's for most of us, we're just like, okay, yeah, sure.
I could not work in that field, man. Blood and shit, I get scared.
Oh yeah. Oh, being a gastroenterologist.
It's nuts.
Yeah. I've heard plenty of prolapsed rectum stories, and yeah, I've seen.
Sounds like a gore grind pictures. Album.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So much grindcore is is the disgusting realm or whatever. Yeah. It kind of gets tiring after a while. Do you get tired of it, Chris, at all, or it just doesn't matter? You don't listen to lyrics anyway.
Of the content of the lyrics?
Yeah, grindcore.
I never read lyrics.
Yeah.
It's rare that I'll flip through the liner notes, but I don't really read any of it. I'm just like, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, I look at the artwork, I look at the quality of the artwork, but I don't read lyrics. I don't sing along. To me, vocals are an instrument. I don't really, pay attention to the message. Or
when I was young, like when we were young metalheads, like you would do that. Like, you get the cassette and you would open up and you'd read, study all the lyrics, and you could like sing along to Slayer or Venom or whoever,
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that, like Slayer and stuff like that.
Metallica.
It's totally like start the war, stuff like that. I'll sing along, but but I don't read the lyrics and try to pick out meaning and like anything like that. I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure. But
Yeah. For me, when it comes to grind, gore grind is part of my least favorite subgenre of the grind scene. Mostly because the art. Well, it has to do with the artwork. And
it's a little kind of like after a while, just get tired of seeing autopsy photos.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was cool, but just nowadays, it's like, come on, can't you be more original or something? Or...
Yeah.
I think to me, it's just they're trying to be way too edgy, and in that sense, with the grind, the gore, of like people being cut in pieces, and some of it is just outright disturbing, in my opinion.
See, I prefer like these guys, like Six Brew Bantha, like their song titles, they're more on the kind of like societal decay, political kind of angle. They're not doing like a medical journal or whatever.
I'm starting to just really like white label promos because there's not any artwork to go with it. It's just a white center label and just a generic white jacket, and then maybe with a photocopied, title and track listing on it. That's the type of album art that I'm really starting to become fond of.
Yeah, I like anything Xerox punk style, but you haven't got to the point yet where you don't even want to hear lyrics or music or anything, just noise.
just buy it, put it on the shelf, and just leave it there.
Somebody mentioned this the other day, and it's kind of true. Like, we're getting up there in age, and you've heard so much fucking music. Like, I've heard like millions of songs. You get to a point where you just want to hear fucking pure noise. Like, that's all I got left.
I've been saying this now is that when you reach the point in music where you've listened to so much music over the years, when you reach the point where you're listening to harsh noise.
Yeah.
The next step up above that is listening to a 1 kilohertz calibration tone. And then after that, you're going to go full circle back to childhood music of like listening to Mary Had a Little Lamb, and the wheels on the bus go round and round. That's what'll happen. Is after harsh noise, there's one next level, and then it's just just going back to. But,
my balance is back to like hair metal, so I go from like grindcore back to hair metal. Just something simple and fun.
Or the next step is listening to the sound of silence. I think we all like
silence. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so whose turn is it? It's my turn, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, now that we're on the topic of autopsy photos.
Oh, here we go.
This is another next level album for me when I heard it for the first time, and I still love this album, and that's Gore Beyond Necropsy. This is an original CD from that I got. This is Noise A Go Go. They were. I don't even think that they're still around or anything, but Gore Beyond Necropsy where gore grind met noise, and they even did some albums, like they have that one album like that one Rectal Anarchy that they did with Merzbow, where Merzbow remixed a bunch of stuff. I mean it's. But this is them, and it's just so distorted and just so over the top. I mean, this album has 59 songs on it, and I think the total length of the album is like 24 minutes. So it's just a lot of just blur, like just blast beats, blur, harsh noise, and growling. I just love this one just because it's just so insane listening to it. Brain Smasher says that's a classic. This is a classic. This really is. This absolutely, when I heard this for the first time too, and it also kind of speaks to like Japanese style grind, because grindcore coming out of Japan, there was something about this edge that a lot of grind bands out of Japan just had, just this edge to a lot of their music. bands like Fuck on the Beach, Mortalized, just so much stuff out of Japan was crazy, and they fall into that category of crazy bands out of Japan. So yeah, Gore Beyond Necropsy, I love this album.
Yeah.
I used to have that Rectal Anarchy 12-inch with Merzbow, but at some point it disappeared. So I'd like to try to get it again.
I only have the download version I only have the MP3 of the Merzbow Gore Beyond Necropsy Rectal Anarchy. That's the one I have, but I haven't listened to it in a very, very long time. But I vaguely remember, it's extreme harsh noise with like grind, really raw grind music. So,
well, yeah, because
anti-music perhaps
they were also that, because there was harsh noise that was, a lot of, tape loops and, samples. There was this one Japanese artist, I think it was Masona, who was screaming. A lot of his stuff was screaming and distortion created from the screaming. But Gore Beyond Necropsy, that was a band playing that was, noise in the mixing and of all of that, of, creating the harsh wall of noise where you could still hear, the instruments behind the wall of noise.
Yeah, I think some black metal bands do the similar approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking for a black metal record right now, but I got something else. But there's two that I'm trying to locate. I couldn't find them.
I'm gonna grab a beer real fast, but Jason,
right,
you're
good.
up.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go with something wild and crazy when we were kids. A little Venom.
Oh, the official bootleg.
The official bootleg. This is probably the first time I ever got the concept of a bootleg LP or a live album. I remember getting it as a kid thinking, what the fuck is this? I mean, they kind of put it up themselves though, right? So it's a bootleg, or is it? I don't know.
Here's a story about this one. I think this is I wonder if this was originally my copy.
No,
this one.
I think I got it on Discogs or something.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry. But yeah, okay, carry on.
But yeah, I mean, I was just going to say the first time I ever heard or saw Venom, again, the videos like for Bloodlust, just crazy, chaotic, but love it. It was like love at first sight. These three guys that could barely play and they were just wild and nuts. It was like the next level after like Wasp and Motley Crue and stuff. So yeah, this one has Bloodlust on it. And it's I love this live recording. When he does that whole call and response thing, and it's fucking hilarious.
Well, I have to say, my opinion of this is basically the opposite of yours.
I know a lot of people hate on this record. Well, a lot of people hate on Venom, I think, in general, because the sloppy playing or whatever. But bear in mind, I like punk, so yeah.
Well, it's not so much of, because I know there's plenty of Venom live recordings that sound really good, but this one I'm sorry to say it's not very good. It's incomprehensible, chaotic stuff. It's like I can't even tell what song I'm listening to. That's how serious it is.
I just take it as a whole piece. It's just like an opus. But again, yeah, Wilson, it's kind of, for me, probably it's because I grew up on it. Like, so it's so different, when you're used to that. But yeah, if I heard it like first time today, I might be like you, be like, what the fuck? It's not very good.
Well, I think it's probably because I was listening to the Hammersmith one.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm more used to, that sort of like the Venom live sound is coming from that than anything really. So when I first heard the official bootleg, it's like, oh, okay, I wonder how good it is. Listen to it, it's like, what? It's incoherent. It's like I can't even hear what song they're playing. It's like,
I love it.
What?
I love the mud. Yeah, it's muddy production. They can't play that well, right? So they got to cover up the mistakes.
I guess so, but it was a very difficult listen. It was like, okay, no, I'm selling it. As soon as I heard it, like for like maybe 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm selling this. I don't want it.
Do you like crust punk?
I do, yes.
Okay.
So, but this is
that's
different.
Noisy, yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, Wilson.
Okay, so this is my fifth one. If we're gonna keep going, I had to go in the basement and get some.
Yeah, I could
But
do a couple more rounds. I guess.
Another big, mind-blowing release is A Feather and Bone, Sulfuric Disintegration, and oh my god, I cannot. This is from the 2021 through Profound Lore Records.
Yeah.
And oh my god, this one is also extremely mind-blowing because of how it's pure death metal. They originally started as more of a hardcore punk band, but they evolved gradually into like this this death metal band. It's just pure chaotic, destructive, crushing sounding album.
I'm sorry.
So it's almost similar if you were to combine it's almost like Titan Blood. Of just like how chaotic, how there's so much dynamic, so it changes in the dynamics of like how it changed from the slow to the fast. It changes to a completely different, almost like different approach to the song. It's just whoa. I was blown away when I first heard it. Especially
I'll have to get. I mean, I've seen their name around a lot, and I've never really listened to them. I kind of just, the problem we have nowadays is that there are too many bands. Too many bands, and when I listen to something, I like to purchase it. But when I'm gonna buy something, I like to be confident knowing that I'm gonna like what I buy. That's why I don't blind buy $30 records. But I'll have to give them a check out. I've been curious, but it's just, again, there are just too many bands out there, not enough hours in the day to listen to music.
Yeah, I have to agree with your assessment because there's just simply too many death metal bands, especially from the likes of the Megastomp, Sanguis of something go
Sanguis a bug.
Right.
Sanguis a bug.
Something like that.
Don't steal my thunder. I might show them later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel you, man. I've been kind of tapped out on death metal. It finally happened. I OD'd on it in January, and then slowly in February it started creeping down. I haven't listened to some proper death metal in a couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too, is that there is a sound to modern death metal that I'm kind of bored with, and I need someone if someone introduces, like Logan introduced me to Black Curse, and I think Black Curse are awesome, and they don't sound anything like the current, cavernous type of death metal sound.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the problem with having so many bands out nowadays. It's like, I need someone to be like, Chris, listen to this. Trust me, you'll like it. So.
Yeah. I have to agree. So definitely check out A Feather and Bone.
All right, cool. I will do that. All right, my turn. And now this is going back to. This is an album. The first time I heard it, again, something else where it was next level for me back when I heard it, probably like in 1998. And when we talk about 90s metalcore, German bands are never brought up. And there was this label called Procoro Records that put out a lot of great German metalcore bands. And Morser is one of those bands that this album, I also have the record too. It's not easy to find it right now. But this band, Morser, 2 Hours to Doom, this album is just absolutely blistering. And now this is the band. Check out, imagine when they go out on the road on tour. 4 vocalists, 2 bassists, a guitarist, and a drummer. So,
are you sure this is not Tech Death or something?
It's chaotic, screamy, growly, blast beats, German grindcore.
Their logo looks a bit like Vector. That looks like Vector, that metal band.
Vector, I haven't listened to Vector. I know that I've heard stories about the singer being like an abusive,
Yeah, he's a jerk. Yeah.
horrible person. So
But their
I
logo
haven't-
looks a bit like that for some reason. It's
Yeah,
more sci-fi. Yeah.
But Morser, 2 Hours to Doom. What? Yeah, Rick's like 4 vocalists. Are they the Eagles? Maybe, but this album is just absolutely blistering stuff. I mean, it's just so screamy. There comes a point where okay, maybe the screaming is a little too over the top, but again, they were all kids, like probably 19, 20 years old, making this movie. When you're that young, you need to be the most extreme thing out there. And then also the family tree of like Percoro Records. Sisterol is another band, another German metalcore band from this era, along with Acme. I have some of the other stuff. Costa's Cake House. I mean, there was some weird stuff with bad Photoshop art, but hey, back then it was all bad Photoshop work. But
I've seen worse.
Yeah.
That's Morser, right?
Morser, yeah. And the thing is they're still around, but I haven't listened they completely changed their sound to just become more accessible to, because then after this they put out an album that I think it was called Scum, and this is their peak of insanity. Then after that the albums just started to kind of just and then I completely lost touch with. I haven't listened to them in probably like 15 years, but 2 Hours to Doom, definitely if you can find this, check it out. It's Matthias, Sven, all the great German names, Bjorn, Ulf. Four vocalists, 2 bassists.
Yeah.
Wow.
Morser is really only have 10,000 Bad Guys Dead. That's the
one that came out after this one. Yeah,
after this one, and they're part of the so-called Bremen Corps because they're from Bremen region of
Bremen.
Germany.
Yeah, that's where all the German bands from that time. It was like, I guess I think maybe, I mean, the scene was in Bremen, but maybe that's where Percoro Records was in Bremen, Germany. I don't even know if the label is still around. I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah, and you also mentioned the band Acme, which I also have the LP of that as well.
Oh, that's such a classic.
Yeah, I have that. So, and the Morser, I need to find the first one. I didn't get. This was kind of hard to find, I think. But I had to double check.
There was a 7-inch that they put out, a 7-inch and then a split. But I think that this was their first full length.
Yeah.
Killer stuff.
Yeah.
Just blah.
I agree. It's like when I first heard of Morser 10,000 Bad Guys Dead, it kind of reminds me of Asuk combining with like Cleveland hardcore scene.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this kind of almost like grindcore-esque approach to like the whole metallic hardcore sound. It's actually like I didn't find it that bad. It was. I need to find the first one.
It was good, but this was definitely peak sickness. So, all right, Jason, you're up.
All right, got a couple more rounds. Okay, this one has been a bit of a difficult listen, I got to say, and I'm a guy who listens to noise. But this is on the higher end of the scale, I guess, for noise. A band called Full of Hell.
Okay.
You might have heard of it, right? So they combine harsh electronics with grindcore. They're from Pennsylvania. This is on a Relapse Records release. The reason why I couldn't find it is because this came out in like 2022, and I pulled it for like a stream this Sunday. So yeah, maybe it just hasn't grown on me yet enough. It's also on colored vinyl, which kind of bothers me a bit. But it's pretty high on the highs, the high pitch. But there's some cool stuff in here. I don't know, man. Maybe I got to get this on a different format. That could be the issue too. Lately, I really like noise on CD format.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe to skip the tracks or whatever. But or maybe I need it on cassette where it's kind of like drowned out a little bit, like so I can add some low end. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of low end compared to like death metal, right?
Yeah, so it's part of like a hot sounding release, is my guess.
Yeah, I guess that would be the technical term these days. Hot sounding, like very bright, quite bright.
Yeah, we are there. Logan and I saw them play at the Skylark Lounge in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah,
and that singer's not going to have a voice in 10 years. Like
a lot of yelling and screaming.
Just just his style of vocals. It's like, man, how do you do that night after night? That's got to be crazy. Of how do you recover and then do it another night? But yeah, it's live. They're definitely a wall of noise.
Yeah, noise metal. Yeah, this guy says, yeah, maybe better in digital format. I don't know. Yeah. I was disappointed. I was quite, I saw the record. I said, this is going to be fucking good. And it didn't quite do it for me yet. We'll see.
All right. Wilson.
Okay, so I managed to grab one. So let's go with this. Ghost, Behemoth.
Okay.
So, have you heard of Ghost? G-O-S-T?
Heard of Ghost.
Yeah, not that Ghost.
Now that's extreme, let me tell you.
Well, if you call Scooby-Doo chase music as extreme, then yeah, perhaps.
Extremely bad.
Yeah.
Extremely bad.
But anyways,
no, I don't know this one.
Yeah, this is the synthwave, but it's very aggressive sounding.
Okay.
So it's almost like if you were to bring black metal music, but instead of like guitars and drums, it's all like keyboards. It's all like electronic synthwave sounding. So if you thought Perturbator and all these bands like Carpenter Brut, it's like mind blowing. But this one takes it up to the next level because of how extreme it sounds.
Really?
Yeah.
So now synthwave, is that kind of like synth pop, but just very dark and
or more minimal sometimes? Yeah.
I guess you could say a lot of the synthwave out there is more or less influenced by John Carpenter.
Yeah. Well, in fact, there's even a subgenre of that, like called Logan's Run, like the movie Logan's Run or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah,
that gives me an idea now. I could have pulled a harsh techno record. Yeah, but yeah, that's a good idea.
Is it? But does it have like? Is it sort of like a VNV Nation, like Assemblage 23 type of sound, like that kind of like just still with like a heavy like
the beat is not as front in the front for synthwave. It's more in the back. It's more about just heavy synth lines. If you think John Carpenter, there's hooks, but it's not like synth pop. Like there's no, the singing does tend to be more dark. Like there is dark wave too, right?
Yeah,
like kind of post-punkish kind of vocals sometimes.
Yeah, but occasionally you have synthwave that have like pop vocals, or they go with more of a synth pop sound. Because there's synthwave when they first started introducing in like something like 10 years ago, it kind of diverged into like many different directions. So you get synthwave that's like very dark sounding, like Ghost. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite albums of the 2010s. Just surely how like mind blowing this one is.
Okay.
So it's like black metal, but with like all synths.
Okay.
And by the way, this is from Blood Music, and I strongly recommend you get the vinyl because the digital CD releases are brickwalled.
Really?
These ones right here were taken from the original studio mixes and they mastered for vinyl specifically. So it has a lot more dynamic range. So there we go. Ghost.
I will. I'll give that a listen. I've been kind of out of the loop of what synthwave was, or dark wave, or or IBM and stuff. I'm kind of, to me, it's like I either think of it as industrial or synth pop. But
you're like me with the chorus.
genres. kind of
You're like me with the chorus. I don't understand the chorus. Metal core, this core, I don't get
the waves
with the synth
yeah
waves.
you don't get the
wave,
chorus. I
dark
don't
wave,
get the waves.
synth wave, vapor wave. What's with the waves? So many waves.
The core waves.
Catch a wave.
All right.
But yeah, it's definitely not synth. You're right, Wilson. Sometimes they lean into synth pop, but I mean, it's certainly not fucking ABC. Like it's not 80s OMD synth pop, synth wave. You know what I mean? It's not like pop like that.
Well, they tend to go into the really poppy sound. I know I have a few of those that's coming in the mail soon, and yeah, they tend to go towards like the real definite
Like indie
synth pop,
Yeah.
synth pop. Like we're talking about like Madonna or there's just so many synth pop artists. It's just I can't think
Fisher
of really.
Spooner, would they fall into like the
No, that was like
wave?
that was electro house stuff in 2000s, right? But sometimes it kind of sounds a bit current. But
Well, the thing is with synthwave, it definitely heavily borrows a lot from the 80s synth, aesthetic and the sound
retro
as well.
Yeah,
it's very retro. So
that 80s retro, yeah.
Or they call it retro wave.
So kind of like that Drab Majesty record that I showed off a couple weeks ago, that would probably be considered synthwave by modern standards.
Might be.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I haven't heard this one.
Check out the label Dark Entries, from San Fran. They put out a lot of cool shit. Some of it's reissued from the 80s and some of it's like newer bands that sound like the
80s. Okay. All right. My turn. All right, so I'm going to show off something. I'm pretty pumped that this was just reissued on vinyl, or it was just issued on vinyl for the first time. And that is Deeds of Flesh, Trading Pieces. I absolutely love this album. This is just, I bought both of these. They were just reissued on black and red. So I bought both. And then this is an OG CD from back in the day. But I love this album. This was kind of like one of the ones of like my early brutal death metal of when Unique Leader, kind of like how we talk about the Morris Sound Studio sound with like Tampa death metal. Unique Leader kind of has that Unique Leader sound to the early stuff. I mean, I think a lot of what Unique Leader is putting out nowadays kind of is maybe more deathcore or slammier stuff. But, back then, the brutal death metal like this is just such a killer album. Like early Deeds of Flesh is just such classic stuff. I love it that it would finally, because I just got these, I ordered the records from Osmos probably about 2 months ago. And yeah, it's sweet having this on vinyl finally. But yeah, this album is awesome. This and the other album, this one, Path of the Weakening. This is another killer album that they put out. So good stuff. Definitely worth owning. I'm sure you can get, you can get this from Hell's Headbangers if you wanted to pick it up.
Yeah, I don't know that record.
Yeah, I've heard of Deeds of Flesh not too long ago, but I need to get around getting that. So I almost forgot it was actually reissued not too long ago. I had to give that a check. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, let's do 2 more apiece, and then we'll call it a night.
Okay, so I'll do this one and then one more kind of thing. Okay, gotcha. Okay, this is this is an extreme band for sure. In fact, I sold this as one of my cases where I sold it and I bought it again. So it's on the first listen, I was like, this is fucking crazy. Then, of course, I made the mistake of reading the lyrics, which you don't want to fucking do. Sanguizabog. Yeah. The Tortured Whole record. Now, the back cover alone is just going to tell you what's going on. But yeah, I couldn't deny it though. Musically, I mean, these guys are just so fucking good. It's fucking crazy grindcore, right?
Yeah.
Gore grind, yeah. The
Yeah.
low vocals, the fucking stop and start speed of the drums. It's just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Really fun. And they even doubled down, right? And they made a poster of the whole thing. And who the fuck would put that poster up on their wall?
Yeah. I saw them.
I need to see them.
They opened for Incantation, maybe like a year ago.
Yeah.
Really good live too.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's all jokes, right? But it's all poor taste jokes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got the new album too. I just got it in the mail the other day.
Yeah, they're definitely Tough Luck says hardcore kid to death metal band Pipeline. Yeah, absolutely with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Wilson.
Well, here's one, but I don't have a CD or anything of this one by the group called Purple Gull. Well, it's actually a one-man noise, harsh noise power electronics group, one-man band rather. But the one that really blows my mind the most is the album they have is called Ground Proximity Warning System, which is like the whole theme around this album is basically like airliner disasters. And a lot of it's like sampled from one of the plays that I think from New York that talked about like the events of like airliner disasters that happened. And some of it was actually sampled from actual black boxes of like the last recordings of like airliners that are about to crash in horrific
dark.
ways.
It's
dark. Extremely dark. It's very, very it's also at the same time it's very mind-blowing because how can you make an album let alone a noise project that revolves around that sort of theme?
Man.
Yeah, it's a hard listen, but at the same time it's like, wow, that's it's extreme. It's a hard listen if you're fear of flying or fear.
I have a crippling fear of flying, where I would rather drive 12 hours instead of spending 3 to fly. Like and as I get older, I'm even worse on planes. I don't know. For me, it's just from takeoff to landing. All I'm thinking about is the plane crashing or something like that. I have a crippling fear of flying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's it's just one of those albums you don't listen to it if you have a fear of flying. Let's just put it this way.
I won't rush to pick that one up because I'm trying to warm myself up to fly.
You know what you got to listen to is what is it? Brian Eno did the music for airports. It's much more soothing. You'll like that.
Oh man.
Music
All right. So Wilson's trigger music to trigger my fear of flying.
Shoot. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this next one, we're gonna recognize this album. For me, this is a next level album. When it came out, it was when they changed up their sound, and that's The Process by Skinny Puppy.
Mm-hmm.
I love this album. I really do, and it's one of my favorite Skinny Puppy albums. I know it's controversial because it has more of a metal edge to it than what they would like, but just at the time, because it was, I think Rick Rubin? No, Rick Rubin wasn't involved with this, but they were on Deaf Americans. So there was kind of like this push to kind of go with the modern metal sound that was going on at the time when metal bands like Fear Factory and Nail Bomb and stuff, and they were kind of getting sort of that industrial sound to them. Well, what about an industrial band getting a metal sound to them? And I really like this album a lot. I still really enjoy this one. I wish they would issue it on vinyl because it's never been released on vinyl. So I'd love to see this on vinyl sometime. But yeah, it's just the way that they distorted the guitars on it and stuff. It just sounds so good.
Yeah, it's I made a post about this on my Instagram some time ago. Not that long ago, but yeah, I was going through the album of this Skinny Puppy, The Process, and I mean some of the songs are pretty decent, but I find it's just I don't know. It didn't really grab my attention all that much, to be honest with you.
And
Or in
a
few
lot of
songs.
people say that, yeah.
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that you have all these, people trying to push for them to go with, like, as you say, more metal sound. Also, more into Nine Inch Nails, which they kind of don't want to do that, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And they were consuming copious amounts of drugs. Which, unfortunately, one of the band members passed away during the recording process of The Process.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I thought it was like a last album for them or something. Last album for one guy, anyway.
Yeah, it was Dwayne Gottel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the keyboardist for the band, and he was the keyboardist for even in the live shows.
Mm-hmm.
And and you're right. It's like it's just one of those forgotten Skinny Puppy albums that nobody really seems to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's rough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, Rick's saying I forgot about the whole tapping and showing comments thing. I totally forgot to do all that. But yeah, I would rather do the station wagon than flying. True, I would. But yeah, it's The Process. I just like what they did with the guitars on it, and some of the songs just have weird tempos to them too. It's kind of like when metal bands started to get the industrial sound to them. To me, didn't sound as good as when industrial bands started to get the metal sound. You know, I think that there were some industrial bands that when they started to get the metal edge to them, it came off sounding really good at the time. But,
yeah, it's a good comparison that they are two different vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to listen to those side by side. You listen to your Fear Factory, I guess, next to Frontline Assembly or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Very different take on it.
Yeah. Or you can have really weird approaches like Danzig doing Black Acid Devil.
Never heard that.
Yeah, they're trying to go for like a Nine Inch Nails sound.
Yeah, kind of like Danzig. Weird. After Danzig 4, I just kind of don't really know anything from, what he did after that. But yeah, I know he did go with like that industrial type of thing.
Or what about Rob Zombie too, right? Like he's got industrial metal kind of.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, White Zombie.
Machines. White Zombie, yeah.
Yeah, which was one of the progenitors, or actually not really a progenitor per se, but definitely one of the most popular ones coming out of the mainstream.
Yeah.
With the advent of KMFDM and Fear Factory and so on. But yeah, you showed off the Rob Zombie Hellbilly Deluxe. That was one of the first metal albums that I actually really like.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. I just got it in the mail, so I'll give it a shot. Never listened to Rob Zombie when I was younger. So
no, this is late. Came out in 1997, 98, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Oh no, some songs were still. I still like some of the songs to this day from that album, but some of the songs, I don't know.
98. That's getting pretty late in the day for that's post-alternative at that point. Like, is it still alternative at that point, or is alt is dead by 98? Wouldn't it be alternative rock?
Well,
I guess the record store, the CD store, still had that section for a long time.
Yeah, they do.
Now, since the 2000s, since the Strokes, it became indie rock, right? Like alternative died around the Strokes and the Hives and those bands, and then became indie rock.
Yeah,
and nobody ever talked about alternative again or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I think there's quite a few of them are just not really my sort of thing.
The thing about labels, like at the end of the day, the band could be good. It just who gives a fuck what they called it? You know what I mean? Sometimes there's those situations.
Yeah.
I got a black metal one next. Speaking of labels.
So this is our last
my last go round.
The last one. All right. What do you
This
got?
this was a difficult listen, actually. The newest album, I think it's the newest one, still by Spectral Wound. Great album
Okay.
cover too. Drinking at the bar.
I haven't listened to that one yet.
I saw them live in a basement here, and it was amazing. It was awesome. It sounded better than this record too. I think this is on Profound Lore, but I find this is a difficult listen for sure. I mean, it's just like a wall of glass, pure noise. You put the needle on, and just maybe it's a little brick walled. Maybe there's something to say about the mastering. I don't know, but it's quite loud, and again on the higher pitch. And I guess I like a little bit of groove, but it's black metal after all. So what am I saying, you know? But it's noisy, pretty noisy.
And what label is that on?
It's on Profound Lore.
Okay.
I think that's a Canadian label, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. They're the same labels of like a Feather and Bone, so it should be this one right. Oops,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's kind of like the Full of Hell one, and they both came out the same year, by the way. I had kind of high hopes, and then it's just not something I pull often or listen to often. Maybe because I went down a death metal, trip. So still, it's a cool record. So, yeah, it's almost in that category. Those records that are cool, but they don't sound good, but they're just cool.
All right. Cool. I'll have to check that one. I've been curious. Because I've also confused them with
Devil's Master.
Well, no, that's Spectral Wound, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a Spectral Lore, and then there's a Spectral Voice. So I've confused my spectrals. So
it happens.
Yeah, so I'll remember to check out Spectral Wound. I've seen that album, I just haven't heard it. So
It's a noisy listen. Yeah.
All right, it's cool. Wilson, one last one for the night.
Okay. I guess we'll go with this. Incantation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I have the actual original vinyl, but I don't feel like grabbing it. So the CD instead I got this CD, which is sitting right beside me. So here we go. Incantation. Onward to Golgotha from Relapse.
Yeah. Nice. You got the OG press there.
Yeah. This was kind of it's kind of like it's chaotic, like death metal it's actually pretty good. The one that kind of blows my mind is the artwork. I just can't really make heads or tails of what exactly is going on with this artwork. Is it like a crucifixion being eaten by some sort of weird biomechanical monster thing? This one's a little too abstract for me to figure out what to make of it. I mean, it's really cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, huh? What's going on?
That album is incredible. I love Incantation, I really do. But yeah, the art, and Marty has talked about this a few times on heavy metallurgy, and the artist who she did, their artwork for, some of their albums, just her style of art was just so twisted and just so deep, and like, what the hell is going on here? And yeah. That album is classic.
Yeah.
I have now, because the OG press I think was only on red vinyl. The original first press. I have the second press that was on 180 gram black.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Relapse, the 25th anniversary. I still have it sealed. I've never opened it. I got it at Maryland Death Fest. Back probably like around 2010 or something like that. But
I think it might be in a reissue. I think that's from 2010. I think that after the red vinyl.
It's the second press.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Last one for the night, and I'm going with another next level album that I love, and it's a complete 180 from everything that we've discussed.
Okay.
And
Katy Perry, bring it out.
Even and
even scarier than that.
And I'm probably the only person you'll ever meet who not only owns one pressing of it, but two pressings of it, and that is "Picnic of Love" by AC. Okay.
Oh, AC. Yeah.
So, Anal Cunt. Yeah. I'm not sure if we could get away with that on YouTube.
I don't think so. You can't get money now. You can't monetize now.
Okay, so now this is the Record Store Day reissue from 2019.
Really?
I have an original limited appeal pressing that was issued by Seth Putnam's label Wicked Sick Records back in 97, I think was when I got, or no, yeah, it was the time on the date on here is 97. I have number 175 out of 311, but it was on early limited appeal. Seth Putnam ran Wicked Sick, way back when, and all he did really was just put out his stuff and AC stuff. But this album, as much as controversial as Seth Putnam is in underground, in music, especially among punk and like really politically charged stuff, for like, there was the ironic comical side to a lot of what he did that I think sometimes people don't really look at. That they just look at maybe the homophobic things that he said, of saying everything's gay, blah blah blah. This album is absolutely awesome. It is seriously 40 minutes of acoustic love songs. Yeah, side A, these are the song titles: Picnic of Love. Song number 2, I Respect Your Feelings as a Woman and a Human. Song number 3, I Want to Grow Old with You. Number 4, Saving Ourselves for Marriage. Number 5, Greed is Something That We Don't Need. Song number 6, I'm Not That Kind of Boy. I mean, this is comedy. This is pure comedy. Side B, I couldn't afford to buy you a gift, so I wrote you this song. Song number 2, I'd love to have your daughter's hand in marriage. I mean, how is it that people just look past this? This is absolutely pure comedy. My woman, my lover, my friend, waterfall wishes. In my heart, there's a star named after you. Like, this album, and the album, it's unlistenable. But it's Seth singing like this falsetto type of, like, la la la, like that, and it's just acoustic guitar. And after we heard this, like way back when, my buddy and I, we had this idea of like, yeah, let's do something like that. So I started writing some lyrics about like being a good citizen and recycling and stuff like that, helping old people cross the street, but as sort of this just like ultra positive influence. That was our like concept band. We were gonna come up with just insanely positive songs. But no matter what people want to say about Seth Putnam, and I've seen all the edgelords be like, fuck that guy, he's a Nazi, fuck him, blah blah blah. How can you listen to this and be like, oh yeah, Nazis put out 40 minutes of love songs? Just like he has another 7-inch that they put out called Howard is Bald. And it's just songs about this dude who is bald. And they're just making fun of his being bald, So, yeah, I mean, the Record Store Day pressing, you can still get this on eBay for $20, but this one, the Wicked Sick limited appeal release. No, you're not going to find this for cheap, not at all. And I think it's just a white label too. Not really nice. Okay, yeah, Picnic of Love, right there, and it has a heart. So, yeah, this is definitely next level listening for me.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some of the story about him. To me, it kind of reminds me of Fear. The band Fear, the lead singer of that. Like, they're kind of like right wing punks, basically. Libertarian. It's all a joke, but I mean, in today's light, it would be poor taste, or it would be very insensitive. They're very insensitive singers, I guess.
Oh yeah, nowadays, yeah. This again, this was pre-internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yes, they were going against, the PC norms of most of, the underground.
Yeah.
But, there are always those shock
Kind of shock
those shock
rockers.
performers
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time, which is what Seth was. He was a
yeah.
drug addict, but I still think I will die on a mountain defending Picnic of Love. no matter what people want to say, I will hold up Picnic of Love and be like, this album's fucking awesome and it's brilliant. It is brilliant. I mean, it is 40 minutes of pure comedy.
Yeah, to commit that to vinyl, right? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, to commit 11 songs.
Yeah.
So
they were like, we got a joke and we're going to fucking put it out like on vinyl, 11 songs of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool. Through the whole process,
Do the whole process and reissue it for Record Store Day.
Yep.
Yeah. When did he die? He died like 2010 or something.
Yeah. He's been dead for a while. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all
good
right.
show, man. We went there. We got chaotic. It was pretty chaotic.
Yeah. So we went over some good stuff. Jason, do you have anything coming up on your channel?
Well, tomorrow night, stay tuned. I'm doing a local thing here, a local live show, experimental music, some noise. So I'm going to stream some of it on my channel. That should start around 7:00, depending on how quickly I get my stream set up. So that'll be fun.
Okay, cool. And and then you'll post something on YouTube and on Instagram about that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, by the way, I got the tapes that you sent me.
Oh,
thank
cool.
you. Yeah, forgot
awesome.
to tell you. I don't have a tape deck yet, but I've been shopping around for one, so I'm hoping to have a tape deck soon.
Yeah, snatch one. You're gonna dig it.
And Wilson, do you have anything coming up?
Well, just maybe post some stuff on my Instagram as usual.
Yeah,
because I'm more of an Instagram guy than a YouTuber because I'm too much of an introvert to actually post videos.
Yeah. All right. Well, your Instagram, definitely a lot of heat on your Instagram.
Good channel. Yeah, good one.
All right, cool. And then Sunday night, I'm gonna do my live. I'm gonna talk about some comedy records.
Okay.
And then I'm going to talk about some other stuff and kind of make it like a weekly thing that I think it's going to be called Sloppy Sundays, of just like humor, talk, ranting and complaining and stuff like that. So
that sounds like a great way to end the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So
do it up.
Yeah.
I'll come by. I'll stop by.
Cool.
Same.
Cool.
I'll try to find the time for that.
Right on. Right on. All right. Well, everyone in the chat, thanks for hanging out, leaving some comments.
Yeah.
Glad to see everyone there. And yeah, we'll chat again. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya. Good night. Thanks.
Good night.